That's okay.
Say it to me and I'm going to hear it.
A play about how to not blow up the planet.
Treaty, a play about how to not blow
use
up the
not.
planet.
Yeah. It'll help if you
Use
head towards not.
Yeah. Welcome to Gene's Place at Town Hall Theater. I'm Zach Shivers, the box office manager. I'm joined today by Kate Middleton, who is the artistic director of Ground Up Productions, and she's also directing Treaty, a play about how to not blow up the planet, which opens right here Friday, March 27th. Thanks so much for joining me, Kate.
Thank you so much for having me. We're so excited to be here.
The way I understand it, in a nutshell, the experience that we're going to have is first a play. This is the incredible true story of a playwright who stumbles into the high-stakes world of nuclear disarmament.
Correct.
And then we're going to follow it by a Q&A led by some true experts. These are people coming from the UN who have unbelievable knowledge of how these treaties are being negotiated at this very moment, who will take questions from the audience and help us understand what's going on and what we can do about it.
That's right. And people who have been involved from the beginning with the TPNW, the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons. That's correct.
So let's start by talking about the play itself. So who is this playwright and what happens to him?
Sure. So Chris Thorpe, that's his name, Chris Thorpe. He's a London playwright. He's also an actor. He sort of stumbled, as you said, into this world, and he became fascinated with the treaty and with the trajectory of this disarmament policy and the possibilities within it. And he found himself in a lot of very important rooms with some very important people and scribbling notes and writing scenes. And he has written this play, Treaty, which sort of follows the TPNW from its inception and the people surrounding it and the arguments for it and against it.
This play, it's a true story, and it's not just a story about a person. It's a story that involves some highly technical details. And I'm curious, as a director, how do you prevent this from turning into a TED Talk? What are the emotional beats that you're drawing out?
Sure.
What are you looking for in how you tell this story?
Sure. I think what I love about the play is that it is truly a play. It's, as you said, it's not a TED Talk. It is a play that is about real people and about Chris's true path. He is a character in the play. But I think that there's a part where the fourth wall comes down and the character of Chris speaks to the audience, but it breaks it down into simple terms. The message of the play is in simple terms. Mm-hmm. And while there is this sort of very quick dialogue and a lot of big words and a lot of things that you sort of catch up to during the play to understand, it is broken down in a way that you still go on an emotional journey with the characters and you still see the path that Chris took to learn himself about all of these things.
Mm-hmm. When you're dealing with truth, sometimes we see plays that are highly accurate, like verbatim theater or documentary theater, where we're saying everything is from a transcript or from an interview. And then we have plays that are able to edit a bit. Where does this? Are we strictly true? Or are we able to play?
I would say
adjust?
That we're 60% true.
Okay.
The scenes that Chris is in are taken from real life experiences. Of course, there are scenes without the character of Chris in it. So of course he is embellishing on what happened in those rooms and at those meetings. And in those bars and in those parties where the world met together to talk about this treaty. But I do think that what he establishes in the characters' stories is this argument for or against the TPNW. And some people are very for disarmament, and then some of the larger, more powerful countries are for holding on to their weapons. And they think that deterrence works. That's actually one of the lines from the show. So it's, does deterrence work, or one day are we going to run out of luck? Mm-hmm. So that is the main argument that Chris is bringing to light, which is a very true argument. Mm-hmm. But as far as how much of the play is real life, I would say 60 to 70%, mostly being the scenes that he is in. And when the fourth wall comes down and talks to the audience, that is real information that is happening right now, present day, in the world that we're living in.
So tell us about Seth. Who's Seth?
Apart from being one of my best friends in the entire world, Seth is also one of the founding members of Ground Up Productions from 2005. We're about 22 years old. And he is also general counsel for ICAN, which is the International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons, to the UN. In addition to being a part of ICAN, who won the Nobel Peace Prize in 2017 for their work towards disarmament.
Wow.
Yeah, he's one of those people that you just say wow about.
Yeah. And on top of all that, he's an actor.
He is an actor. He was an actor at school. We went to the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and he was an actor there, and he was an actor into his years in New York City and remains an actor.
He'll be at every production as part of the Q&A, and he'll even be playing the part
He
of
will
Chris
be.
in some of those shows,
He
right?
will be. He will be playing both the part of Chris in some of the shows and on the panel every night afterwards. Yes.
And then the play...
And the panel will also include Véronique, who is a
Exactly.
character in the play. She is coming from Europe, and she has been involved with the TPNW since its inception. She is the senior arms advisor for the International Committee of the Red Cross to the UN. She has a huge role in this, and she is actually the person that Chris, the playwright, met first that drew him into this world to write this play.
So we'll have those great moments where we have a play about a real person
Happening in front of us.
and then at the end we'll get to meet the actual
And she will be in
real
the audience
person.
watching it,
Right,
and then you will get
because
to meet her.
Unlike Seth, she's not also an actor, so she can't play herself.
She could be, though. She's fabulous.
Part of what we want to do at Town Hall Theater for so long is to partner with a New York production company and get a chance to see work in development that we might not otherwise see as it makes its way to Broadway. And so Ground Up Productions is the
We're
first.
so excited. Yeah.
Yeah, which is incredible for us because this is this cast, which I want you to talk about in just a minute. We have all of them have performed on Broadway or off Broadway. We get these incredible experts to come from the UN because we're part of something that is in active development that very well could end up on huge stages. And in fact, Chris Thorpe's one-man version of this show has been all over Europe.
That's correct. It has toured all over Europe for years now. It's even been at UN conventions in Geneva and things like that. So the goal is to, I'm sure that Chris would love to bring his one man over to the US as well. But we just feel so lucky to have the 4-person version, which of course is different, but the 4-person version of it here in the US. And the hope is to take it potentially back to New York City and to even maybe bring him over and run it in Rep. We would love to do something like that.
So if you can, tell us about this cast.
Sure. We have an amazing cast. We actually are going back to our original cast that we had the first time, so that's very exciting. Each iteration of the show, sometimes we pull different cast members. We're
Yeah.
like, are you available this weekend? Are you available this weekend? But this one is actually going back to our original cast, which is very exciting for them to revisit. Who do we have? Okay, Seth Shelden, who we have already spoken about, great performer, plays Chris. We also have another company member, Josh Evans, who plays Chris also. It's a huge role, and so we have 2 guys that switch off playing that. Laura Stanley, who is also a New York actor who is now one of the heads of faculty at MCLA in Massachusetts.
Oh, wow.
College of Liberal Arts, yes. She will be playing Véronique, who is also a real person. The 2 real people in this play are Chris himself, the playwright, and Véronique. And Laura will be playing Véronique. And then the 2 people who Chris has created in the play, but who stand for very important ideas in the play and in this world, are Layla. She represents global South country with not a lot of power, a country who relies on the larger countries for funding and financial aid, who is stuck between the 2 worlds of our disarmament, yes, or let's just try and keep saying, keep staying lucky
Right,
like we have
right.
been. And then that part is played by Tisha Von Stewart, who has been on Broadway in The Lion King. She's amazing. We're so excited to have her. And then the final role is played by an incredible actor, Stephen Heskett, who Ground Up uses as much as we can. He's really wonderful. He plays the role of James. And James, I won't say what country he represents, but he represents a large and powerful country that does not want to give up their nuclear weapons and feels that holding on to them creates deterrence, and that deterrence works. So that is our cast.
What's next for this? After our run in Middlebury, what's the hope for what we do next with this production?
Right now, the important thing is getting the message of this play out, because as you said, people, and Seth said, people leave it and they're just sort of shocked by the information that they didn't know about, by the ways in which they can participate in this huge thing that feels very intangible. It feels like it's just the diplomats, just the people at the UN, just the people in the suits, and it's not. The message of this play is not one of like, you have to go out and like do something. It's more like you just have to talk about it.
Yeah.
You just have to acknowledge that this issue is at hand, that there is movement to change, and that you can be a part of that small change, that it's really the silence that surrounds the issue that we've gotten very comfortable with that keeps it safe and also incredibly dangerous, the silence around it, that it just starts at the dinner table or on the subway. Just talk about it. And then all of a sudden these smaller communities grow into larger communities, and that is where the change happens.
Part of what this play is doing is dispelling this notion that decisions around nuclear weapons, those decisions are made by somebody else.
Correct.
In some other place.
Correct.
And that in
that
fact,
we are the ones that actually start the movement.
and we'll actually get some steps to make change, right? Now, we won't just be left with wondering, right?
Yes,
at
and
the panel,
Seth, again, the experts are Seth and Véronique, who will be there every night of the show, after the show. And they are the ones that if you do want to go out and do something, they will be the ones to lead everyone.
it seems like if you have any questions about nuclear disarmament, that alone is a reason to come. These people can answer those
Absolutely.
questions.
You will learn things that you never knew. You will have information cleared up that you might have incorrect, and you will have a path of what to follow when you walk out the door. Yep.
Well, I am so excited to see this show. I feel like we've never had anything like this before here.
Well, we're really excited as well. And again, the point is to just spread the message, not to mention it is a fantastic play.
Excellent.
So thank you.
Well, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having us.
Well, I hope to see all of you there. Treaty, a play about how to not blow up the planet, opens Friday, March 27th. It runs through that weekend. We are so excited for this production. Tickets can be bought online at talenttheater.org, or give me a call at the box office. Send us an email. We hope to see you there. Thank you so much
You're
for joining
so
me,
welcome.
Kate.
Also, lots more information at groundupproductions.org.
Excellent.
We're just
Groundupproductions.org,
Yep.
talenttheater.org. Go to both sites, 2 tabs, everything you ever need to know.
Thank you so much for having us. We're just thrilled to be here.